Hey, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, and we're back again, and we're going to do something today that I haven't had the opportunity to do since basically the pandemic kind of locked us in, and that is to actually go out and search out a deal or two in the used equipment marketplace, see if I can't round up some new projects for my YouTube videos, and see if I can't acquire some inventory for hopefully the fall fishing shows that I can sell some of this quality used tackle. And I found a warehouse sale on Marketplace, Facebook Marketplace. And quite honestly, there was a little bit of everything in there. If you read the description, there was a lot of household stuff. There was some furniture, some lamps, things like that. But then there was a tremendous amount of tools listed. And kind of in the bottom, just off to the side, it said fishing poles. So I called the fellow that was responsible for the sale and asked him about the fishing poles. He told me he had quite a few of them, that they were acquired through garage sales, estate sales, some storage units and the like, but that wasn't really what his specialty was, that he was more about the tools and the like. And come on down, see if we can't strike a deal. So we struck a deal. And the deal that I struck was $125 for what I'm going to show you. I think you'll agree I got a good set of purchase here. And I got some projects that we'll preview, we'll talk a little bit about. And we'll see if we can't bring some of these to YouTube. So let's start with the fishing rods then. I got 16 fishing rods. And what I was doing in an evaluation, just trying to figure out, okay, what's the value of this stuff that I'm willing to bid. I put $5 a piece on each rod, so 16 times the 5, it's going to get me up to $80, right? And eventually we sold at $125. But 16 rods and a homemade gaff. So first of all, if anybody wants to make a gaff, here's how you do it. Get a 3-foot section of an old broomstick, basically. And you can tell out because it had a hanger on there. Go grab some metal rod, could be a welding rod or other piece. Put a point on it, drill a hole in your gaff stick, and there you go. You got a 3-foot gaff. So popular around here. It's over the side of the boat, short arming a billfish. But if you want to go do that and don't want to spend the money, that's kind of how you go and do it. Epoxy that in if you're going to do it this way. Epoxy that bar into the wood so that it holds. Then we got an assortment of rods, and I would say that it probably came from 2 or 3 different tag sales, garage sales, yard sales, and so on, because there's different levels of the rods. There's the newer graphite blanks with the foam handles. This one happens to be a Silster Performance. This one is a 7-foot conventional pole. Then we have, this one would be a Calypso, so that's a little bit older in the branding of it. But the important part of all of these rods is, with the exception of one, every one of them has all of the line guides, tips, and handles and the like in order, so you don't have to spend any time going about trying to repair these things to bring them to sale. Have an assortment. Here's bait casters, light spinning poles, very ultra light in terms of a rod. I'm not sure whose this is, but it's a beautiful rod. It comes out as Hunter graphite, sensitive and strong. I'm not sure whose that is, but it has the modern line guides with the single arm coming out. And then we have a couple of the more vintage rods out there. You know, it's probably hard to see, but this is an absolutely beautiful large game reel. It's by True Temper, and it hardly looks used. The line guides, everything on this thing show very minimal wear for a saltwater reel. There's no corrosion whatsoever on the line guides, so this one was quite a nice find. And we have the only one that's missing a line guide is a very heavy duty spin reel short boat. Around here we probably would use this for bluefish or striped bass. Very heavy pole, 6 foot tall, very heavy action pole. And then here's another one that kind of looks like a ugly stick. It's not. Not quite sure whose that is. Somebody might be able to tell by the wrapping. But so 16 rods, $5 each, $80 in the valuation. Plus a homemade gaff. And quite a surprise. So here was the surprise that I got when I purchased that. And the surprise I got is that this is a Saint Croix. And this is a Saint Croix Viking. It's a 6'6" spinning pole. I would say from the 60s or 70s. It still has the line guide on it. Beautiful butt. When I saw this first time, I thought maybe this was going to be a Abu Mitchell because of the colorations on the real butt. But in looking at it further, I saw Saint Croix out of Park Falls, Wisconsin. And what a beautiful rod. This one by itself, I imagine, probably sells around $60. And this one can go fishing tomorrow, and I would like to see it go fishing. And then finally I got it. The last of them was actually a rod and reel combination. This one is a Zebco. Came across as a Zebco Oceanside combo. And this one doesn't even look used. I mean, there's some blistering on the paint here. It did have some line on it. But you look overall and it's hard to say that this thing was ever used. There's no corrosion or anything on the butt. The line guides are all nice and clean. And this one by itself is ready to go fishing, interestingly enough. All right, and then I got 8 reels or 7 reels, counting that Zebco. So let's take a look at that for a moment. In my box of reels, some of these were attached to the poles, but I make a point of getting them out of there. These are going to be projects for the YouTube where I haven't done them before. So this is a Daiwa. I love the beautiful gunmetal grayish kind of ones. This one is a A250RL. Working. It's been sitting a long time. You can tell that. There's just dust and grease and junk. There's some old salt deposits on there. That'll all clean up nicely. This one's a parts reel. This isn't going anywhere. It's a Korean reel. I'm not sure who made it. It's a striker. It's seized. That's just a regular parts bin. Here's a Daiwa 404A. So you can see the era that this lot was from. Whoever was doing the garage sale was probably cleaning out, at least in that assortment there, cleaning out somebody's stuff that hadn't been fishing in quite some time. Here's another Korean made. This one is a Quantum. It's a Quantum probe, so I would say this is probably a 20-year-old style in a bait casting reel. Still works. So we'll take that apart. We'll show you what this one's made of. Actually, we may not get very far with it. It's missing 2 screws here, so this one may become a parts reel. We have a little Storm closed bait caster. Hey Jane, this will be one going in your box. I work with Jane to make sure some kids get some reels. Here's a Shimano AX1000. I think I did the AX500. This is a beautiful reel. I don't normally fish rear drag reels, but or fast cast type reels. This one's a nice one, and maybe we'll get that into action somewhere. And then the last one out of that is a Speedmaster. It's the GTX 2300. This one's a nice reel for, especially for the ball, the rear drive. It has the adjustable drag on it. It has 3 ball bearings. I'm not sure if I've done one of these. I think I may have, but if I didn't, we'll certainly get in there and go do one of these as well. So 7 reels there, 18 poles or 16, 17 poles and a gaff. So at this point in time, I'm well beyond what I paid for the deal. Then you saw a tackle box, and what you haven't seen is another box. So the tackle box by itself is nice and clean. It has some accessory trays up top and clean inside. So again, you almost wonder what's been going on there. And then there's a couple of little things in here, all packaged. There's very little there in terms of anything that would indicate that it ever went fishing, but there's some hooks and some corks and some leaders and the like, and some egg sinkers as well. So terminal tackle is always good, and if I can save a couple of dollars by not having to buy it because I just got it here, that's wonderful. And then the last part, I got a whole tote. Probably hard for everybody to see, including me. And I really haven't even been into this one too much, but I do know some of the things because that involved me bidding on it. I have a second box here, and the first thing you look at that and you almost want to just plain give it away. But then as I opened it up, I found out that it wasn't a saltwater box, it was a fly fishing box. And we've got a dozen flies here. And around here, those types of flies probably sell for $2 to $3. And in this case, there's more than a dozen. I'm seeing a couple of these have double hooks in them, so that's more than one. But let's just say for $3, that's probably $30 worth. I have no idea what goes with the Orvis leader wallet, but there's a couple of nylon leaders in here. It's not full, but it certainly has enough of them. What do we got in here? Oh, we got some early artificial baits. A lot more of those tapered leaders for fly fishing. I'm not a fly fishing expert, I don't even pretend to be, but we got a whole handful of leaders. And then on this side, well, it looks like we have some fly line there. And we do. It's unbranded and not sure if it's very useful. It's gladding. So we did a story actually on gladding, didn't we? We did the history of the gladding company. So this is a gladding magistrate, and it's floating on fly line. And they've been out of the fly fishing business or the line manufacturer business for quite some time now. So that line's probably at least 20 or 30 years old. So that's a case there. Let's see if we can ever get it back. This is sort of like when you open up your new reel and you can never get it back in the box. Right. And then I have a whole host of stuff that came with it as well. The box is marked line, but it's not line. We've got the one that interested me in this. We've got a lot of silvers in here, a lot of metal weighted and tin type spoons. These are tin squitter spoons. Those are relatively expensive in today's market. We have our old A27s, which are for bluefish and the like along the coast here. A couple of the, this is another tin one, which is nice, replicating the eels. So you don't find tin around too much because tin is expensive, but a lot of folks like it because it's lighter weight and it replicates the action of the heavier jigs like the A27s here, the diamond jigs and the like. So we get quite a bit of value in this. There's a whole set of little squid type spoons. And then we have what looks like 3 or 4 or 5 of the diamond jigs. So this box has probably got a value well in excess of $20 to $30, even in the used equipment market for that. Then we got another box here, which has got the value of lead. It is lead. There's a whole host of sinkers here. I don't know what that weighs, but sinker weights are going for about 10 cents a pound. There's a lot of it. And then we have yet another box of sinker weights, which is appropriate for the Atlantic coast and what we're using here. I probably couldn't use all of them in a lifetime. And then we have, this was labeled as. It was labeled as line, and we sure have line. We have all kinds of packaged stuff in here. Some of these are not used, and some of them are kind of huge. So I'm not quite sure what I'll do with this. Most of these look like they haven't been opened, and they've just been accumulated here. So we have a bunch of new trilenes, a whole host of spools of trilene. So there's quite a bit of value there. Each one of these spools you figure is probably a $5 spool at a minimum. Don't know how old it is. Doesn't appear like it suffered any kind of damage. And like here's some Andre monofilament. Now that was marked $5.99. Those of you from around the area here, this is marked from Herman's. Herman's has been out of business for 20 or 25 years, so this one's been around a long time. So I don't know what the value is of this box, but it's all extra at this point in time, that's for sure. So that's it. So we got, I've probably said 3 different numbers on the rods, but it's 16, 17, or 18, something like that. 7 reels, a host of fly fishing equipment with some leaders. Looks like 20 or 25 boxes of fishing line, about $25 worth of lures, about $20 worth of sinkers. So that the $125 that I paid for the lot, I'm satisfied with that, particularly with the acquisition of that one rod, the Saint Croix Viking. That was just a gem in the rough there. And I hope you've enjoyed that. Take a look at the videos for the reels. I'm going to be doing most of those reels as videos. That's kind of what I set out to do when I went to acquire this. And we'll try and keep you entertained during the pandemic. So those of you that are first responders, thank you very much for all it is that you do, for keeping us well. For those of us that are sitting on the sidelines trying to stay healthy, please wear the masks, maintain your social distance, stay safe, stay well, stay fishing if you can, and continue to watch as we continue to try and do these things over the course of the pandemic. So this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Thank you for watching.